Unsolicited advice.
What you whispering for? Yo, what's unsolicited advice? Take it or leave it. My last video, one of my last videos, we talked about change and how a lot of things are going to be obsolete. And one of the things I left out because I just wanted to talk about it separately was jobs. We're slowly but surely seeing that we are no use in certain job areas. You know, in certain career fields, we are no longer of use as human beings. AI is taking over the jobs. So I want to talk about some that are at risk, where you're not going to be able to have a job in that field, and I'm going to talk about the ones you don't have to worry about. So the jobs that are really repetitive or rule-based, where you can put the algorithm together because they're you have to follow rules to do the job, or require minimal like human judgment or emotional intelligence, stuff like that. Those are the ones you got to worry about. So like data entry clerks. So inputting, organizing, like inputting, organizing data, very high. Easily, you can do that with software. So your secretaries, your desk clerks, things like that, yeah, they're going to take your job. Telemarketers. Nobody really likes telemarketing, but for a small group of people, that's how they earn their living. So, that cold calling and scripted sales pitches, they can get AI to call you and do all that. All they got to do is just type up what they want the AI to say, and they can do it efficiently without the emotion and, without the stuttering and stammering involved. So you really got to remember that. Cashiers, any type of cashiers, handling transactions at checkout, you already got self-checkout already. You got mobile payments that are replacing them too. So, sometimes you can pay before you even get there. It is what it is. But cashiers, they're going to become obsolete. AI is going to take that job. Customer service representation, basic inquiries when you want to call for something. So answering simple questions or routing calls like that. They're going to have AI, those little AI, I think they call them chat bots, So that's gonna take that over. They're gonna handle fact checking interactions. So if I call and I want to know about my bill, or I want to know about my appointments, things like that, they're gonna have AI handle all that. They're gonna have, it's all about building. If you can build an algorithm for the AI to use, you're good. You're good. And they won't need humans to do that anymore, which I believe you need humans for customer service representation. I do believe that, because I need to talk to a human. Because unless AI is really going to answer my questions, I prefer a human. Fast food workers. Now, recently, we've seen where fast food has been offering the same amount of money as some of these career-driven jobs. They've been offering like $20. Some of them even offer, to pay for your tuition if you go to school, things like that. But any type of frontline order, taking, fast food job, anything like that, they're going to have kiosks. Like when you go to McDonald's and you can just order on that little board, you can just go in there and order without talking to the person, stuff like that. They'll have robots in the back fixing your order. And you just, once you pay, it'll probably slide it down some little machine and you'll eat. So AI, so AI kitchens pretty much. But I think the last one, what's the last? Let's see. Because I was on the road for a second there. This is stuff that's been on my mind. Accounting, bookkeeping. Especially if you're a corporation. If you have humans, which I think that was going to be a little tricky. I think there'll be a lot of fighting back on that, because if AI does your accounting and bookkeeping, that means it's going to be truthful. It's a little different when you got a human. You come there and say, "Hey, I need you to, you know, I need you to alter this, or I need you to change that." Because if somebody comes and audit us, I don't want them to find out about it. But if if you have AI, they're gonna keep it 100. Your bookkeeping is gonna be clean. It's gonna be A1, but they ain't gonna be able to manipulate nothing. With human contact, they can manipulate certain things to keep you out of trouble. AI doesn't, because everything's gonna go digital. That means AI is gonna keep up with your books, and somebody's gonna be able to go in without you being able to change anything. And so it just, that one, it just depends. All depends. But those pretty much, fast food workers, accountings, bookkeeping, what else did I say? Customer service, cashiers, telemarketing, clerks, data entry. Yeah. So let's talk about where you don't have to worry, about your job. And probably should listen up, especially if you're listening to this and you're in your 20s, or you're going to college, you're trying to figure out what you want to do. These jobs you probably should be learning as we speak, because you'll be okay with this. So healthcare, that's they're always going to have a need for that. There's not going to be a lot of people that's going to agree to deal with a robot or AI when it comes to their health. So doctors, nurses, therapists, anybody that has to do, diagnosis, patient care, surgery, therapy, things like that. Yeah. So AI can assist, but you can't replace with that. Any type of creative professionals, like what I'm doing right now, writers, designers, directors, musicians, any type of storytelling, design thinking, artistic creation. You don't have to worry about it. I mean, you can be a little bit in there. But to organic, artistic stuff, oh yeah, no. You still need the human touch for that. Because AI just will repeat what they feel like you want, instead of somebody coming up with something bold and fresh. Any type of skilled trades, like being electricians, barbers, plumbers, carpenters, hairdressers. So anybody that does hair or beauticians, can you imagine going into a shop and it's a robot right there about to cut your hair or do your hair or do your makeup or nails? Like, you're going to be terrified the whole time. Especially if they holding a blade or something like that, or some clippers or some scissors or anything like that, or they, putting your head back to wash your hair. I don't see too many people wanting, AI or a robot to do that. So, you're still going to need human touch. You got to whoop somebody's ass if they do it wrong. I ain't trying to fight with no robot with a blade in his hand. But yeah, any type of skilled trade, auto mechanic. I don't know, auto mechanic, you probably could use AI a little better. They probably could work a little faster, tackle the problem better, because them auto mechanics be loving a lot. But yeah, electricians, plumbers, carpenters, any type of skilled trade, you gotta worry about. You good. Mental health. That was another one I had to put down. I had to think about it. Mental health professionals, any type of therapy, counseling, mental health treatment, emotional connection. It's human. A robot's just going to give you, they're going to solve your problem. They'll tell you what you need to do, but they're not going to tell you, hey, everything's going to be okay, this, and that. You can type it in for the robot to say that, but it's not going to be human. It's not going to come with, eyeballs looking at you telling that, or a warm voice, something that's comforting, letting you know these things. Teachers and educators, I think they'll be okay. I think they're actually going to start getting paid more once they learn to change the curriculum, to better suit the modern age of teaching and learning. because it's so outdated, so robotic. They teach them the same things every year, you know, and these kids really aren't learning what they really need to learn out here when they get to the real world. That's why they're so scared when they come out. They're so afraid to progress because they feel like they're doomed to fail. Any type of leader or strategist, things like that, you know, executives, entrepreneurs, politics, you know, all those things still need a human touch, you know, because you're looking at visions, you know, someone's vision of the future, taking risk, you know, of course, leadership, I just said that, but any type of thinking, accountability, you know, are you going to blame a robot? Robot don't give a damn what you're going to do, put it in jail. Like a robot ain't going to care. Robot ain't going to care about a damn thing. But yeah, you really need to start looking at the market. Look at everything that's going on around you. Because if you're working a certain job, the government, society is looking for a way to make you obsolete. Especially as a human being, it's looking for a way to make you obsolete and make you, you know, invaluable. So just be careful. You know? Don't let them take your job. Don't let them take your job. But that's just unsolicited advice. You can take it or leave it. See y'all later.